Welcome, college basketball fans, to the Full Court Press Podcast with LT and Sammy D. This is the podcast that brings you legendary stories from college basketball's golden era and dives in deep with a current analysis of today's game. Get ready for the most energetic and entertaining college basketball podcast around. Let's get it.
Hello and welcome to another Full Court Press, a college basketball coach show powered by the Full Court Network. Luke Taylor here going one-on-one with this fine coach. Don't forget to subscribe, rate, and review if you're watching us on YouTube on the Full Court Network or X or Instagram and all that stuff. So I'm excited to interview this coach because I am surprised John Wall is his strength coach, the legendary NBA player.
Well, no, that was, it wasn't. Same name, different player.
I know, I'm messing with you.
Yeah. Same name, different player.
Yeah,
no, because here's the thing. If it was when I was at Memphis, I actually recruited that John Wall, the NBA player, when I was to Memphis. And instead of if it was that John Wall, I would, instead of trying to get him to the strength coach, I would have tried to go to the local judge to see if we can get an injunction to see if there's any eligibility left, since everyone else is doing that around the country.
I know. Hey, I know it's crazy. We got Josh Pastner, second-year head coach of the Runnin Rebels of UNLV. Welcome to the Full Court Press, Coach. You probably never had that intro before.
No, that was good though. But my strength coach's name is John Wall, but it's not the NBA player John Wall.
Right,
so,
right. Well, John,
little different athleticism. He can teach athleticism, but he personally doesn't have the same athleticism as John Wall, the basketball player.
So we were just talking off air kind of quickly. Good first year, 18-17, so you're above the 500 mark, which is great. What I love is you beat Memphis, you beat St. Joe's, you beat Stanford, three really good programs. And then you beat Boise State twice, Utah State twice, in Grand Canyon. Now I know why Coach Calhoun left Utah State to go to Cincinnati. It's because of UNLV.
Well, first of all, back to those couple of those wins you talked about. What was great about some of those wins was it was at Memphis, at Stanford. So two great road wins. Yeah, we'd be able to beat St. Joe's, which was they're a really good A-10 team.
Mm-hmm.
And then at had a win at Boise State, as you mentioned, at Utah State.
Huge.
And so it was the first time for UNLV to have swept Utah State since 13-14. It was the first time for them to have swept Boise State since like 18-19. So it was a really some productive things there with that. And I'll tell you what, to win at Utah State.
Oh, the herd.
No, you almost have an easier chance to go into Madison Square Garden and beat the New York Knicks. You know what I'm saying? Than to beat Utah State at Utah State. So there were some real positives for us, Luke, that we did this year. I mean, look, this is a rebuild. There was going to be some. It was going to take a lot of work to do to establish what we need to establish here in year one. That all being said, lots of positives, but there's a lot of things that we got to continue to grow and build on. And make really good strides going into year two, both via the recruiting aspect of the portal, but also other little things as well too. And I think we'll hit our stride and be better next season.
Yeah. What can I guess people expect? I mean, I feel like, especially in this day and age, I mean, the college basketball landscape's different than when you and I were playing and in school, and even when you're at Georgia Tech. It's changed. It's changing right now as we speak. I mean, you might get an injunction for John Wall with an H in his first name. But what is your what are you, I guess, excited about this offseason? What are you going to try to do that you might have done in the past when you're at Memphis or Georgia Tech? Like, I guess, what's the expectation for year two?
Well, first of all, things are just different now than they were those times I was head coach at Georgia Tech and Memphis. Part of it's the transfer portal is different because there was no transfer portal back then.
Yeah.
There was no NIL. So
legally there was no NIL.
Yeah, that's right. Legally there was no NIL. There was NIL for some, but it was not that. At the time, it was against the rules.
Yeah.
Now I don't even call it NIL. It's really pay to play.
Yeah.
I mean, we could just move past the facade of the NIL. It's really just pay to play is what the deal is now. But that all being said, look, the reality of it is you. And I said this when I took over. you have to be prepared that you're going to have 13 new guys every year on their team.
Yeah.
Yes, retention matters, and you want retention, but it's not about as much as a relationship thing on the retention. Some of it comes down to finances and whether you can afford someone or not, or hey, I can go get something, double than what you're giving me in the portal. And I understand it. And I would say that we've done a really good job in year one in really increasing guys' value. That's been important to us, getting guys better and increasing guys' value. And that's got to kind of be a staple of ours. Yes, we like to keep guys on our team, but the reality of it is until there's a climate of a cap within the salary structure here in college athletics, those Power 4 teams, Power 5 leagues, whatever you want to say, can just pay way more than what we have in our budget. And so if you've done a good job with someone and they're a really good player, as much as you want to keep them, it could just come down to a business decision and saying, hey, I got a chance to triple my money. And I get it. I mean, and God bless you, more power to you, and give you a big hug. And so you have to be prepared to not look at it and take it personal and be upset if someone leaves to get a better opportunity. When I say better opportunity, more money, more value, because you did your job to increase their value, if that makes sense. And so that's just part of the deal. And you have to be prepared that literally you have to have a brand new team. So the expectations, we want to make a jump. Who doesn't want to be playing in the NCAA tournament? You want to win conference championships, all those things. Yeah. But look, I think the biggest thing is, in order to do that, you've got to be really good evaluating in the portal, and you got to get a little lucky along the way. Probably not a little lucky. You got to get real lucky. Yeah. In this day and age, pro sports, NBA, NFL, Major League Baseball, NHL, pro hockey, they spend millions and millions of dollars with years focusing on draft prospects, and they probably only get it 50% right at the time. We're trying to spend money and make decisions literally in a week and a half. Yeah. And you have to, and so with that, you have to get lucky, really lucky along the way.
Yeah. Coach, should we talk about the Cleveland Browns?
Well, you get the deal. I mean, but that's my point, is the pro sports have a whole scouting department. That's all they do, the money they invest in it. Whereas in college, you're now having some finances, and you're having to make decisions literally sometimes in 72 hours and 96 hours in a week. And it can make or break your team for the next year, because in football, Luke, you could have misses because the numbers are so big. Man, in basketball, if you have an injury or if you misevaluate 1 or 2, 3 guys, you're in real trouble. Yeah.
Yeah. Has that kind of changed your recruit? I mean, you're known as an elite recruiter. Has that kind of changed your recruiting philosophy? Are you kind of maybe like, you look at Tyron Jones? I mean, I believe he's coming back next year. I don't know if confirm or deny. I know it's out there, so that's why I'm saying.
No, he is. He's coming back.
He's a local kid. Are you putting more emphasis on maybe local kids than you maybe weren't as much when you're at other schools or even in your first year? Or are you kind of just trying to get the best players possible that they can for that first year and just hopefully worry about that 9 months that you're going to have these kids?
Yeah, what's interesting, Luke, is probably my other spots. You're so locked in on the local aspect of things, but now it's probably where I'm at now is we're looking at guys who have ties or who have been at Las Vegas, who maybe have been at another spot and it didn't work out to what they expected, come back home type thing. And so like Tyron Jones, who's a local kid, yes, he came here out of high school and it's worked out for him, and he's going to stay again another year, and it's awesome. But I think, again, things are a tad bit differently in a sense that where maybe you put so much emphasis in the local kid in high school because he's in your backyard, because high school recruiting was everything, Luke.
Oh,
now it's kind of like you're really on the back. High school recruiting is not that it's not important, but it's really second or third, or maybe even fourth on the list when you're looking at putting your roster together. Because I don't know how you feel. And you've had other coaches on here. This isn't where you're getting 6 years, 5, like the old days where you get 5 or 6 years.
6 minutes.
That's right. I mean, you're getting 6 minutes. That's probably accurate. I mean, you have a couple years, and you know this. You have a better chance to win with older guys with a 22-year-old than you do with an 18-year-old. The 18-year-old might have better potential to go in the NBA down the road, but the 22-year-old can maybe help you win a college game faster than the 18-year-old.
Forget the 22-year-olds. Just start recruiting 25 and 30-year-olds. I mean, it's legal.
Well, I mean, I think that's where I was mentioning where previously that they've got to, for there to be some structure and guidelines in here, there's
Right.
either got to be a federal law or a collective bargaining agreement
Yeah.
between for the players. Anything in between is not going to work. And so one of my biggest pet peeves, not even the transfer portal, not the NIL, my biggest is there's got to be an expiration date on how long you can play in college.
Mhm.
And like you can't like you whether it's 4 and 5 or 5 and 5, but there should be no more than 5 and 5 if they
Right.
ever change it. You can't be 27, 28 playing in college. There's got to be a limit somewhere where like, okay, you get 5 and 5, but if you're at 25, it's over. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, there's got to be, otherwise that
Yeah.
takes, I think that's a pet peeve a little
Yep.
bit. I don't think guys who are pros playing in high-level European teams or pros here in the United States of America should be allowed to play
No.
in college.
Yeah.
That takes out the fun of college. You shouldn't be playing. We had a kid, we played against a team in our league, a center who's a pro who played for the Euro League, who's really good. He kicked our butt. Well, what do you expect? I mean, he's a pro. And so guys like that should be, it just – and I would probably say the more we can get transparency
Yeah.
on the financial aspect of the contracts,
Mhm.
so that way you're not bidding against yourself. You're trying to figure it out. I think all those things go hand in hand. And
Yeah.
some of the things that the challenges that we maybe have, that if we could fix some of those areas.
Yeah. Yeah. So knowing you're going to have some retention, are you going to have a tough time building a non-conference schedule?
No, I mean, I think scheduling has changed because, probably in non-conference scheduling, you are scheduling based on what the teams you're going to play against. Well,
Right.
you don't know the other opponents anymore now until May. And so look, we're going to play we have 3 games in the Players Era tournament here in Las Vegas. We are at San Diego State. We have a series with them. We have Stanford at home.
Nice.
And so those are our 5 games at this point. We have to finish out, the rest of our scheduling. So I don't, the biggest difference of non-conference scheduling that's changed comes down to just the timing of it, whereas you could maybe do a schedule in February and March or January, because you kind of had an idea in the old days. Okay, they have these 3 seniors are going to be gone, but these juniors and sophomores and freshmen, so what kind of team they're having.
Right.
But now you don't know. I mean, everyone's just it's a brand new team, and you probably don't get that settled until the beginning of May. That's why you see scheduling happening so much later now than ever before.
It's crazy.
Really late in the summer.
Yeah, we've talked to coaches where we're talking in August, September. It's like, yeah, we have 2 more dates still. I'm like,
Yeah.
I mean, Davidson had freaking a date still available in November.
Yeah.
So
Well, that's just because people are trying to figure out who's on what roster, and before
Yeah.
you make decisions, and you hear the things about quad 1, quad 2, quad
yeah.
3, quad 4 games. So all that goes hand in hand, but a lot of that depends on the roster you have.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. How excited are you for the Mountain West next year? I mean, we've got some teams leaving, some new teams coming in. What's your kind of initial thoughts about that? I mean, year 1 in the Mountain West, it's obviously going to be a totally different league next year. What are your kind of initial thoughts about it?
Yeah, I mean, look, I think the Mountain West is a really good basketball conference. It's a really good league. Yeah, there are some teams leaving, but there are some teams coming in. And historically, you look at these; it's just a really good basketball league with really good basketball coaches. It's a physical league. It's a tough league. It's maybe not so much above the rim. I mean, we're an above the rim team,
Yep.
and there's maybe maybe another team or two that's really above the rim, but it is it's a basketball league where there's a lot of skill, toughness, physicality, and really good coaches.
Absolutely.
And it's kind of in that sweet spot where you see a lot of really good players who are at maybe Power 4 come down to our league, or who've had really good years in the Mountain West Conference and then go up and are the hottest kind of names on the market in the portal. So I just think it's a sweet league and sweet spot league, and it'll be interesting to see, because of the Pac-12 now being reformed again next year, where some of these teams are leaving to.
Yeah.
That's going to take some bids out. I mean,
Yeah.
you're going to have to you're fighting to try to get obviously 2 to 3 bids every year from this league, but that's the more we go, the more they're going to take just from the Power 4 conferences. I mean, it's just moving that way for the NCAA tournament. I think that's why they're talking about expansion, to see because look, the
Mhm.
TV networks love, like you look at the Sweet 16, the Elite Eight, and the Final Four, they were all Power Four schools,
Yep.
brand names. That's what they want, the TV deals. I mean, as much as people talk about they like the Cinderella story in the round of 64 to the
Yeah.
32.
Let us have
But
it.
in the
Let us have it. You know, I went
second,
to
third,
UIC.
fourth
Yep,
weekend,
absolutely.
they're ready. They want the big names, and that's just the reality of it with TV.
Yep, yep, yeah. I think High Point expired on that Saturday night, unfortunately. I know Flynn real
That's
well,
correct.
but
I mean, and I tell you what, if you're asking television, they would rather have Arizona play Arkansas and have that game being watched than Arizona playing High Point.
yeah, that's disappointing. So we do a quick thing called what do we call it? The shot clock. It's just gonna be quick and easy. One word answers. If you got a story, go have at it. Okay. So Sam usually sets us up, but I'm going to. So one word to describe UNLV basketball.
Enthusiasm.
Okay. You just wish you had Larry. I bet you Larry Johnson can still play. Just see if he has some eligibility. He was a badass, man. He was my
You know
favorite.
what? I hired Stacey Augmon on staff.
Oh God, one of the best defenders ever.
You know what? Oh, he's unbelievable, and he still looks like he can play. But here's the thing: I always tell people all the time. I said, listen, Stacey Augmon and Larry Johnson are not walking through that door unless you want to write me a $10 million check. You know what I mean? So, so we can, you go get one of those two guys, type of guys. But
Yeah.
otherwise, that what they did in the 80s and 90s here. I mean, Jerry Tarkanian had like an 83% career winning percentage over 20 years. I mean, it was the greatest college team in that 90-91 era. I mean, what they did, it was Showtime before Showtime.
Yeah. You were on a pretty good college team yourself there, Coach. Don't downplay anything there. But
Thank you.
Biggest coaching influence and best coaching advice ever given.
Biggest coaching influence, I'd probably say Lute Olson and John Calipari, two Hall of Famers.
Okay.
I played for Lute Olson, worked for Lute Olson, and worked for John Calipari, two Hall of Famers. Best coaching advice. I don't even think this is coaching advice. I think this is coaching advice and or life advice. One day at a time. But I know it sounds about as elementary as it is. I'm telling you, if you could, I tell people all the time, if you could just in your mind, one day at a time, and this too shall pass. If you could just live with those two things, one day at a time, and this too shall pass, I think your stress level really comes down.
Yeah, my level just came down. I was thinking about that, like, okay.
Yeah.
So I want to ask a question here. So which official of the teams in the Mountain West Conference this past year, which team did the officials like the least, or head coach, or I like to put it, who was called for the most team fouls in the Mountain West this past year?
You know what? Unfortunately, I would have to say UNLV was called for the most fouls, which I was not real happy about. Now, I really believe the officials like me as a human being. Now, there were some times I would ask them during the course of the game, do you not like me? Because of the amount of fouls that we were getting called on. So I didn't always agree with a lot of the calls. Now, we did foul at times because we were an aggressive team. We played above the rim. We were playing up tempo. But and I understand the officials have a hard job. I mean, let me just say this, Luke, that because I think it's really important because we need to continue to have great officials as we move up. And when you go recruiting and you watch youth sports and stuff, and some of these people just treat the officials so poorly.
That's terrible.
You can't do that. I think it's important as coaches, even at the highest level, where there's, and you see it a lot in the NBA, they don't treat the officials poorly, the coaches. They just sit on the side. It's so important how we treat them because we want officials to be involved because it all trickles down. Yeah, I mean, they got a hard job and it's not easy, and I get it. And 99.999 are trying to do it the right way. And sometimes there's going to be human error where there's going to be a mistake or two.
Yeah, you and Coach Sundance Wicks have something in common. You were called 21.4 fouls per game, and Sundance just behind you at 20.8.
Maybe he and I need to go to dinner and talk about it. And you know what? I funny you say that. I love Sundance.
I do too, man. We've had him on the show multiple times.
He's a great coach. His
Great
teams
dude.
play so hard. They're an incredible offensive rebounding team. He's a great coach. But when we went to play at Wyoming, we were 2-0, and he was doing his radio show. We went our team came ate at the restaurant where actually he was doing his radio show. And the next night they just drilled it. We were the elevation. I got altitude sickness. We had multiple guys.
Dice,
it was
baby.
Dice. It was awful. It was awful. I'm like, this is crazy. And we got our butts kicked. They kicked our rear end.
Yep.
But I say all that to say, actually, the night before, he and I were talking about the officials saying, do they not like you and I? Because we're getting called for the most fouls in this league. I mean, what's going on here? You know what I mean? So we said he and I need to have like a sit down. And this is before we actually played and talked about the officials.
Yeah, they call it Laradice. Coach Leon Rice laughs at that, but Laradice, it's pretty cool. Give me a quick funny recruiting story.
Quick funny. I was in Arizona when I was an assistant in Arizona. I was recruiting this kid, N.D. Eby, who it came down between Arizona, Texas, and Duke was his final three. And I'd been on him for a long time, and I was engaged at the time, and to this young lady that I was going to be married to. I was at her apartment. We were talking. She was having a couple second thoughts. Wasn't real sure. We were moving too fast to get married, and this and that. And she was, it was an emotional conversation. She wasn't know if she was sure to be ready to get married. And I remember, we were talking, and she actually was, she just wasn't sure. She didn't know if she wanted to get married. It was just going to happen. While she was explaining this to me, NDEB called me on my phone, and I saw it, and I was like, I mean, it is what it is. I had to take the call because I was in the middle of trying to save my engagement at the time, but I recognized like he could help us win a championship and she couldn't. And I ended up going outside, taking the phone call, talked to him for multiple hours. We talked about a lot of stuff. I came back in, the ring was on the table. I took the ring, walked out, and we have never spoken since. But NDEB did sign. He did sign with Arizona. The only issue was he ended up declaring for the NBA draft out of high school. So I lost my fiance, and it was great for her. She ended up getting married and having a family, so I'm happy for her. And I ended up meeting my soulmate, got married, had kids. So it all worked out all in the end. It worked out for him to play in the NBA.
We've heard that might top it. I think you might have beaten Kelvin Sampson shitting his brains out at a recruit's house. So
I've had a couple other crazy stories, but yeah, that's just part of the deal.
Yeah. So last question I'm going to ask you. Okay. So they're making a Hollywood movie about your life. Okay. Who would play you? What would the title of the movie be? And what would be the theme song, or easier said than done, your walkout song?
First of all, the title would be "The Glass is Overflowing."
Ooh.
It's not half empty or half filled. It is overflowing.
Yep.
That would be the title. The glass is overflowing. I would say who would play me. I would love to say that I could get some, great looking guy, but it'd probably have to just be, it'd be really cool if Will Ferrell play, even though I'm not funny. But I really think Will Ferrell's funny. You know what I mean? So it'd be really cool if he could play me. But I'm not a real funny guy. So and then the walkout song, great question. You know what? You know what I love? And I love music. I really do love music, and I love all kinds of music. But that's a great question. The walkout song. This will I listen to a lot of music a lot. But some of the best music I listen of different versions is Amazing Grace. Man, I different versions of Amazing Grace. I just think it's, it's a beautiful tune. Now there's other things, the other song music I like too that are, a little more fast or uplifting, but Amazing Grace is amazing. When you hear different people, how they perform it, whether it's instrumental or with the voice, pretty cool stuff. So I don't know. Those are a couple things with me, but for sure, positive. The glass is overflowing, full of positivity.
Yeah, you could come out to a UNLV home game with like lights and like smoke to Amazing Grace and like on a cherub. I mean, that would be pretty cool. But
you know what? I was just saying this the other day to you know what I love? Like I was at the Mountain West Conference Championships, the tournament. They did such a great job.
They do. We were there last year. Phenomenal job. Yep.
they do such a great, and one like during the reviews are playing what's it called by Four Non-Blondes. Is that what's the song called? Goodness, I have it in my phone here. I'll tell you right here. Hold on, I'm going to get it for you because I really want to tell you what it is. But it was really good. They did like a different version of it, and people were just, they were really.
What's going on?
No, Four Non-Blondes, what's up? So stuff like that. They were playing "We Will Rock You" with the Queens back in the day.
Nice.
I mean, just great stuff. So I thought the energy during the tournament, they did a really nice job during the dead ball situations and the timeouts and reviews. But I love music. I can really talk about music.
Nice.
I mean, I talked about like back in the day when I was in the ACC. One of my favorite places to play in the ACC tournament was in Greensboro.
Yeah,
at the Greensboro Coliseum. You know what? And you know what I used to tell people? We've Got Tonight by Kenny Rogers.
Yeah.
And what's her name?
We Got Tonight. Da, da, da,
yeah, by Eastman. What's her name? That's her last name.
Not Linda. Not Linda Ronda.
No. I mean, obviously Bob Seger had it. It was his initial song, but I was playing it right here, but I can't remember. But anyway. Something Easton. I got.
Sheena
Easton. Yeah. Anyway, that was at the Greensboro Coliseum back in the early '80s. I loved it. I love playing there because every time we played this, I mean, they were here performing on this. You know what I mean?
Awesome. Well, Coach, I'm going to let you be. You're going to stay on for one more second as I upload. Check out the Running Rebels. I know it's the summer, and it's we're going to be talking all summer about college basketball. But Coach, I really appreciate it, man. You guys are going to have a big second year. Mountain West is really good basketball, even though they're kind of the conference is moving and morphing. But great coaches. Sundance Wicks, Coach Alford, New Mexico, Grand Canyon is legit too. So, Coach, thanks for jumping on for us. Don't forget to subscribe, rate, and review where you listen to the Full Court Press, College Basketball Coaches Show, powered by the Full Court Network. We'll be back next week. Actually, no, 2 weeks. Final Four, we're going to have a little hiatus, and then we'll be back. Check us out. Thanks, Coach.